You are Locked On Marlins POSTCAST, part of Locked On Sports Miami on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What is up, Fish fans? Welcome. I said welcome to another episode of your Locked On Marlins POSTCAST. My name is Jim Grieshaber. As always, you know to call me Gries, and you know the Marlins aren't going to win every day, and today was one of those days when they didn't. We will wrap this up for you and take you through the New York Mets 7-3 win today in Miami at Lone Depot Park. That finishes off a three-game series, helps the Mets avoid a sweep. The Marlins were looking to finish off their second sweep in their last three home series, and it just wasn't to be today. Just like yesterday, where the Mets jumped out to an early lead. The Marlins kept shipping throughout the game. Their bullpen held serve, but today, different from yesterday, the Mets bullpen held it together, and the Marlins tasted defeat. Before we get into the details and wrap up this one for you here on your Locked On Marlins POSTCAST, Locked On Sports Miami, Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, iHeart, you name it, we are here for you. But I want to thank you for making Locked On Marlins and a Locked On Marlins POSTCAST your first listen every single day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. And today's show is just really unbelievably lucky that on a Sunday, the Marlins were going for a sweep, right? So we have a lot of fun things to talk about today on the show, and it didn't end up happening for them. And obviously, we are going to talk about all that here and more on the show on your Sunday night in Miami. Oh, there's a lot to do there. And I am still trying to figure out why I'm a little bit dark here. It's crazy. I mean, if I could just flip this around and show you how bathed in light I actually am. You know, people say you want to get rid of the roaches, turn the lights on. And I just found that to be true in business on a business call that I did the other day. Hey, I'm going to record this on Zoom. A lot of people like that in Miami, right? But anyway, guys, the Marlins were looking for that sweep today, and you know it wasn't going to happen. The Mets jumped on Sixto Sanchez very early in this game. There we go. Very early in this game, they jumped on Sixto Sanchez, and Sanchez has not been good, right? Sanchez has not been good, and you start wondering what are they going to do with this guy? And I guess, you know, we could probably we could get into that a little bit more into the show, and that's something that we will talk about here as we continue with the show here today, and we'll get to that obviously as we move on. But I want to take you through what happened in this game first, and Sixto Sanchez has not been good for the Miami Marlins. And yesterday it was Braxton Garrett making his second start of the season. He did not pitch well at all. And then today it's, you know, Sixto Sanchez in the first inning. And to me, it came down to one thing, right? The home plate umpire was a little bit of a squeezer. And you kind of could sense that from the beginning. But, you know, interesting when you think about what happened in this game today with Sixto. And I've said Sixto has not been good. 4 innings pitched, 6 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts today. All those runs came in the first inning. He did settle down a little bit. He did bring his pitches down a little bit. And to me, that was the issue with Sixto Sanchez early in this game, is that he could not bring his slider down in the zone. When you're throwing that pitch chin high, and it's literally that sharp break at the end is taking it right into that belt area, straight up right into the middle of the zone, right belt high. And that slider's just breaking right into the hit me zone. And that's what he was doing in the first inning. He was throwing everything right there in the middle of the zone, but he has got to be better, man. I mean, today, I just mentioned 4 runs in the first inning. Garrett, it happened yesterday with the Marlins too. You're not even giving your team a chance to be in the game. You're lucky the Marlins were able to come back and get that win yesterday. Hardly ever going to happen to have that big of a deficit, come back and win the game late the way they did yesterday. Magnificent, magical, yes, all the above. Fantastic. The fans feel great. Everybody's happy. But you know deep down you're not going to win many games doing that. You know you're not going to be celebrating when out number 27 gets recorded, right, when you keep doing that. And so today it happened again. 4 runs in the first. Nimmo with the big shot, and you know, the Mets just continuously applying pressure offensively, man. They're a good team. The Mets are a good team. You know, I know the Phillies are red hot right now, and they're the best team in the division. The Braves nipping on their heels. And, you know, talking to our Locked On Phillies guy last week when we went back and forth, Mark, he and I were talking about the Phillies, and they're happy they feel like they're playing with house money, being ahead of the Braves at this point in time in the season. And that just has not been happening for the Phillies over the years recently. So the Marlins, though, and the Mets, look, I mean, the Marlins are the bottom of the division. They have 15 wins. They're not going to win a lot of games this year, but you have to get better starting pitching to get anything done in Major League Baseball. You have to get You cannot fall behind 4-0 in the first inning every time out. And look at Sixto Sanchez against Detroit. The last time out, they lost that game that he started the opener in that series. 4 2/3, 3 runs, and none of them were earned, unfortunately for him in that one. Game before that against the A's, 2 earned runs against Oakland in 4 innings. Against Colorado before that, 5 earned runs in 4 innings when his teammates bailed him out in that game. Versus Atlanta before that, 3 earned runs in 2 2/3 innings. And this dude just not getting it done, man. He is not getting it done at all for the Marlins. He just should not be taking the mound and getting the ball every 5 days. In my opinion, right now, you're running out of people, though, because Braxton Garrett has not been good either. Luzardo has been picking it up. He looks really good. Weathers, who pitches the opener against Milwaukee tomorrow, he's looked pretty good. And the bullpen's been great for the most part. And I thought that, left Bender in there too long tonight. Easy for me to say, right? But Bender was looking good, had 7 consecutive scoreless outings, and that was coming off a terrible stretch for him. And tonight it just wasn't to be for Bender. But Sanchez has got to be better. The starting pitching has got to be better. You cannot fall behind 2, 3, 4-0 in the first inning and have any chance to win. I mean, this is Major League Baseball, right? And credit to the Marlins. And I want to throw a shout out here to the middle relievers on this team, the bullpen, and they've been doing great. Maldonado got optioned to AAA before the game because they know Sanchez can't give him any innings. Nardi, Smith, Puck, and then Bender got caught in the 9th inning, but before that in the 8th, he got the out that he needed. So that bullpen was good, man. Nardi's been really good. Smith and Puck today getting the job done. Puck had just come off the IL last week, so give them a lot of credit. The Marlins chipped away at the Mets throughout the day. Chisholm didn't have a very good day, 0 for 4 at the top of the lineup. De La Cruz and Bell, 1 for 4 each. Berger, 0 for 4. He's been miserable, hitting 171. Rivera gets to start at third, and he goes 1 for 1 in the game. Gordon pinch hit, and for him later on, and would stay in the game as well. But, man, Dane Myers, great Dane. It's in the rundown. He hits a 2-run homer today. And then Bethancourt with the home run. You think about what Bethancourt has done, and he was pinch hit for by Sanchez late in the game, but Bethancourt and Fortes have been swinging the bats lately. Bethancourt homer today, Fortes with 3 RBIs a couple of days ago. And don't forget, the bullpen's been magnificent. Before these last 2 games with Garrett and Sanchez screwing it up, the starters had been terrific. 4 starts in a row without a starter allowing an earned run for the Marlins. The catchers have a big part in that, calling the game, playing D behind the dish. So shout out to Fortes and shout out to Bethancourt, who have been really good lately. And Bethancourt hit the home run today. So you're kind of thinking as this game's going on, hey, the Marlins chipping away. The bullpen's been great. All we need to do, sitting there as a Marlins player or a fan, all we need to do is keep chipping away and we'll get these guys late. And it seemed like it was going in that direction all the way until there's 2 outs in the 9th inning. And 2 outs in the 9th, you're like, dang, you know what I mean? Bender almost makes it through. Look, he struck out Bader in the 8th inning, and Bader's been really good lately. But in the 9th, they got him, and you kind of felt like maybe Tanner Scott would have been a good guy to bring in that situation, but you didn't want to go to him again. I don't understand why they stayed with Bender, what the logic was. I'm not saying that they shouldn't have. I'm just saying I don't know the logic. I'd have to hear what Skip says after the game. But, the law of averages is going to get you. When you give up that many runs early in Major League Baseball, the law of averages is going to get you. You're not going to win very many games, if any, very rarely, like you did yesterday. And you just can't keep, hoping for those things to happen. I mean, you hit Lindor with the first pitch of the game. If you're Sanchez, it's been little things like that. How about Jazz Chisholm when it's 3-2, right? Was it 3-2 or was it? No, it was 4-3. It's 4-3. The Marlins had just hit a home run. What inning was this now? I got to remember this. It was the Marlins had just scored. It was in the 7th inning. Bethancourt homers, right? It's 4-3, and then he hits Chisholm. And I forget who was pitching for the Mets at this point in time. I think it might have been Diekman. Was it Diekman? Yeah, it was Diekman, right? And what happens is, was it Diekman? I make sure. Yeah, it was Diekman. And Diekman didn't have his best stuff. So Diekman gives up the home run to Bethancourt, and then he hits Jazz Chisholm with the first pitch after. First pitch or second pitch, correct me if I'm wrong. And then Chisholm gets thrown out. I mean, he's taking a lead off first, and they saw something, obviously, with Diekman, a lefty who he's looking right at you. First base is over there. He's in the stretch looking right at you. So as a base runner, you know until he makes a move toward the plate, you do not go. Well, Chisholm took off before Diekman even made a move, period. So he didn't even make a move at all. And he thought he saw something in that delivery where he could just take off and then Diekman would not even see him and just throw the ball plateward. Easy stolen base. Ran himself out of an inning in a one-run game with a home run that had just been hit. And he's your leadoff hitter. All right. So the home run's been hit. Nobody's on base. He's your leadoff hitter anyway in the lineup, period. And now he's technically your leadoff guy in that inning because the leadoff guy homered, first guy on base. And what does he do? He runs himself out of it. These things just cannot keep happening for the Miami Marlins. And we've seen it with Gries before he was traded. We've seen back to back with double, single, double to start an inning, and they didn't score running themselves out of an inning. So that's something that you really have to watch with this team. They like to run themselves out of innings once in a while, but Chisholm's been great lately. I don't want to knock him. He's been fantastic in center field, really adapting nicely at the top of the lineup, but you cannot run yourself out of that, right? You do not want, and especially the first out of the inning, he just gave up a home run, then he hits you, and he's rattled. You're going to give him that gift. Let him pick you off, let him get settled, and get through that inning. I thought that was a huge point in that game. Jazz Chisholm cannot make that kind of mistake in that situation. It's a one-run game. It's a one-run game, and the pitcher's rattled. You just gave everything back to him in one shot because you couldn't wait an extra tenth of a second to take off for second base until you saw his foot just do anything at all, lift up. He didn't even move, and you just tried to time it, and you got beat, you got caught, you got thrown out, and that happens. But the real thing with this game is not the base running mistake by Chisholm in the seventh inning with a run game. It was Sixto Sanchez, man. That hanging slider, just hanging in the zone like he's playing slow pitch softball. This guy's bad. He's really bad. And I don't want to see him get the ball anymore. I'm sorry to say that. I hate to do that to another man trying to make a living, but he's just bad. You got to give your team a chance. He did not give the Marlins a chance in that first inning. Luckily, the bullpen backed him up and went scoreless. I mean, he did settle down a little bit, brought those pitches down, but you cannot start the game off hitting a batter and then leave that slider up in the zone like a meatball. Hit me. It was screaming as it came in, and they did that in the first inning. And, we give the Mets credit. It's the second game in a row. They've exploded early. What have they scored? 17 runs in the last 2 days. The Mets, they gave the Marlins one yesterday. So much so, and I thought it was interesting that, their closer was not even warming up. Now, it's a one-run game, and Edwin Diaz, $102 million closer, has been terrible. His ERA is over 10 in recent games. Man, I got to hit the brake. But he's been terrible, and they were not giving him the ball to warm up. He said before the game, or after the game yesterday, really, that he was open to a change in his role, and they're going to have to do something. But they were not even – and look, who was on the mound for the Mets at the time? He looked really good, too. It was Reed Garrett. Reed Garrett was dealing. That splitter was dropping off the face of the earth. So you kind of knew they weren't going to go with Diaz there, who's been struggling. Marlins lit him up yesterday. But it wasn't going to last forever. The Marlins have still won 5 out of 7. They've still won 4 out of 6. They still just won another series at home, and you have the Brewers coming in. So many positives. You're 15-33, and you started off the year so crappy that, you really put yourself in a hole. But this is not a 15-33 team. They keep scratching. They keep clawing. Their bullpen holds them in games. This is a much better team than their record reflects. They've had a lot of injuries, especially to the rotation. And that's what's been happening this year. We're going to take a deeper look into this latest one. 7-3, the Mets get the win to avoid the sweep at Lone Depot Park in Miami. Sixto Sanchez, man, his 6 guns were empty as he started this game, and he's just been dreadful for the Marlins. What can they do to get that starting pitching to pick back up? Look, it looked really good for a couple of games in a row with Weathers and Luzardo. Can they get that groove back? Can Weathers keep himself going against the Brewers? We'll talk about those things and more. You're watching your Locked On Marlins postcast, Locked On Sports Miami, and wherever you listen to your audio podcast. My name's Jim Grieshaber. Call me Gries. Step aside, pay a couple bills, and keep it going. Locked On Sports Miami. Hey, it worked. There we go. We got everything going on the technical side. We're going to let there be light. But I'll tell you what, man, Policy Genius is one word. It's one word, Policy Genius. And that's what you're going to be when you go to Policy Genius, a Policy Genius. We're going to change it in the dictionary. It's one word, Policy Genius. Life insurance is the most important thing any of us can have, right? I have 3 kids myself. We need to be in a position where we leave our loved ones protected if anything happens to us. Policy Genius is the country's leading online insurance marketplace. Let's start with that. It saves you time and money so you can provide your family with a financial safety net starting today with Policy Genius. Are you ready? With Policy Genius, you can find life insurance policies that start at just $292 per year for $1 million of coverage. Some options offer same-day approval and avoid unnecessary medical exams as well. Policy Genius helps you compare your options from top companies, and their team of licensed experts is on hand to help you talk through it. Talk to a team of award-winning agents. They have trophies all over their shelves. They'll walk you through the process step by step. Easily compare quotes from America's top insurers in just a few clicks to find your lowest price with Policy Genius. Your work-life insurance policy may not offer enough protection for your family's needs. You can find out at Policy Genius. Even worse, it may not come with you if you leave your job. That's a big problem for some people. Policy Genius gives you unbiased advice from a licensed expert support team. Policy Genius has no incentive to recommend one insurer over another, so you can trust the guidance of their experts. Thousands of 5-star reviews on Google and Trustpilot from customers who found the best fit for their needs. That's right, at Policy Genius. Check life insurance off your to-do list in no time with Policy Genius. Head to policygenius.com/LockedOnMLB or click the link in the description to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you could save. That's policygenius.com/LockedOnMLB, policygenius.com/LockedOnMLB. And we are also brought to you in part today by Yahoo Finance. Oh boy, Yahoo Finance, man. Wait till you hear about Yahoo Finance. I love Yahoo Finance. I love that they are such big supporters of the show here. And I just am really pumped because Yahoo Finance is a proud sponsor of the show. And I really like to know, you know what I mean? It'd be great, right? If you could see all of your investment and retirement accounts in one place. With Yahoo Finance, you can consolidate your views from multiple accounts into one hub and access the expert analysis you need to tend to your entire portfolio with confidence. Let's get straight to the point. You want to grow your portfolio to deal with the rising cost of inflation, to pay off your debt or your mortgage. Pretty much anything standing in the way of you and financial freedom, right? Well, with Yahoo Finance, you can get access to the news, data, and tools that you need in order to reach that financial freedom. And I mean reach that financial freedom. When it comes to your financial future, you think you've done it all. You've saved, you've researched, you've invested all that you can. Now you need to take those investments to the next level by using what every financial great uses, Yahoo Finance. For more than 25 years, they've been the brand behind every great investor. Whether you're a seasoned investor or you're looking for that extra guidance, Yahoo Finance gives you all the tools and data you need in one place. They are the #1 finance destination, producing a holistic look at the financial news cycle, including breaking news, original editorial perspectives, analyst ratings, independent research, customizable charts, and so much more. Securely link your brokerage accounts for a unified view of your wealth, including 401k and other investments. With a community of over 90 million users. Think about that, 90 million users each month. Their real strength is helping you on your way to financial success. So what are you waiting for? For comprehensive financial news and analysis, visit the brand behind every great investor, yahoofinance.com. The #1 financial destination, yahoofinance.com. The #1 financial destination, yahoofinance.com. And it's a lot of fun. I'll tell you what, we have some great sponsors here with Locked On. Policy Genius, Yahoo Finance, really pumped about these incredible partnerships that we have with Locked On Sports. And you are watching your Locked On Marlins POSTCAST. My name's Jim Grieshaber. Call me Gries. And man, the Marlins' luck ran out today, didn't it? Been playing with fire a little bit. And, you know, I mean, look, with Braxton Garrett yesterday and Sixto Sanchez today, these are major league hitters. You know what I mean? If you're not getting anybody out, not giving your team a chance to win. You cannot be hanging a slider in the middle of the strike zone time and time again. I don't care that he settled down. And over the next couple of great, good for you, Sixto. You settled down after that. But after that doesn't matter when you put your team in a 4-0 hole. Even if you had made it a 2-0 hole, if you had gotten out of that inning a little bit sooner, if you had made a pitch in that first inning, Sixto, God forbid, and gotten your team out of the inning, they'd have had a chance to win this game. Your bullpen backed you up throughout the day. They deserved better. Your offense kept chipping away throughout the game. They deserved better. Skip deserves better. Everybody, the fans, the people who went out there to see this game today, they deserve a better effort from a starting pitcher than a guy who's just going to go out there and hang meatballs over the plate all day. And that's what Sixto Sanchez did in the first inning. And then Chisholm runs him out of what could be a big threat in the 7th. And again, he's been great lately. Don't want to knock him, but you cannot run yourself into that out. The pitcher allows a home run to Bethancourt to start the inning. You know what I mean? He starts the inning by allowing the home run to Bethancourt. And which pitcher was this for the Mets? I just did this earlier, too. I always remember this, man. Pitcher for the Mets who was on the mound when all that happened. It was, where are we at here? It was, jeez Louise. Okay, here we go. It was Diekman on the mound. Diekman had just given up the home run to Bethancourt. He hits Chisholm with a pitch right away. Chisholm thought he saw something in delivery. He could just take off and get second base easily. He leaves for a stolen base attempt before the pitcher, Diekman, even makes a move toward first, toward the plate, toward anywhere. He thought he saw something, didn't wait long enough, got himself thrown out. Just the pitcher just stepped off the rubber, turned around, threw it to second. Easy play for Diekman. And the Mets, you let him off the hook, man. He just gave up a home run. He just hit you with his first pitch after that home run. His nerves are a bit rattled, and you gave him that gift and got him out of the inning. That was a big point in the game, too. I believe there, if Chisholm remains on base, and maybe he gets second base on that pitch if he waits a little bit longer, and then he's in scoring position. Who knows what happens after that, right? Who knows? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. But I will say this. You have a pitcher hanging meatballs over the dish like that, like Garrett did yesterday, like Sanchez did today, like so many Marlins pitchers have done this season. You're not giving your team any kind of a chance. I applaud this bullpen. I applaud this lineup. They just keep chipping. You love the spirit. You love the fire. You love the will and the tenacity to keep fighting. This team has all that. They have a lot of talent on this team. I'm anxious to see what they keep doing as the year moves along, who they trade, what they get back. You know, Bell was hot. Gordon's been swinging it better lately. Bell's an attractive trade piece. Luzardo's a really attractive trade piece. He's going to pitch. What game is he going to pitch? I can't remember. He's been pretty good lately, Luzardo. But he pitched the first game, I believe, against the Mets here on Friday. Yeah, he did. So anyway, Luzardo's been great. Weather's been great. Maybe they can keep that going. The bullpen's been terrific. And you know, Bender ran out of luck a little bit today. I felt bad for him that they didn't bring Tanner Scott in because the Mets got to him in the 9th, you know, and Reed Garrett strikes out the side in the 9th for or in the bottom of the 8th for the Mets, which was huge too for the Marlins. You still have that 1-run deficit. He comes out and strikes out the side in the 8th inning. So tough loss for the Marlins. They'll wrap it up, or they did wrap it up today. They have the homestand wrapping up with a 3-game set against the Brewers, who are coming in town. We'll talk about Milwaukee, what you can expect to see from the Brew Crew. They're not Harvey's Wallbangers, that's for sure. That's a long time ago. Wow, where did that come from? But the Brewers coming in town to face the Marlins in a 3-game series starting tomorrow, 6:40 p.m. first pitch tomorrow night. We will be here right after that game with your Locked On Marlins postcast live on your Locked On Sports Miami YouTube and wherever you listen to the audio version of this show. I'm Jim Grieshaber, call me Gries, and we will keep it going in just a moment. You're watching Locked On Marlins postcast. And if you are looking for some help with sales, are you struggling to close deals? You know what I'm saying? I got your back right here. B2B selling is tougher than ever, and that's why I want to tell you about LinkedIn Sales Navigator. LinkedIn Sales Navigator is a sales intelligence platform that helps professionals effectively prospect and engage high-value customers, drive higher revenue, and increase sales performance. That's right. Sales Navigator helps you target the right buyers, surface key signals such as job changes or which accounts you should prioritize, and shows you hidden allies so you can find those buyers that are most likely to convert. Fueled by LinkedIn's 1 billion member platform, Sales Navigator gives you the most up-to-date first-party data, enabling you to unlock conversations with the people who matter. Right now, you can try LinkedIn Sales Navigator and get a 60-day free trial at linkedin.com/lockedon. That's linkedin.com/lockedon for a 60-day free trial. Let LinkedIn Sales Navigator help you sell like a superstar today. Just go to linkedin.com/lockedon and get started right now. That's linkedin.com/lockedon for LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Locked On Marlins Postcast. Getting a little better with the production here. Locked On Marlins Postcast. My name's Jim Grieshaber. Call me Gries right here after every Marlins game, every Dolphins game, every University of Miami football game, every Heat game as well. Locked On Sports Miami with your Locked On Marlins, Heat, Dolphins, Canes postcast. And don't forget to check out Locked On Marlins, Locked On Dolphins, Locked On Hurricanes with Alex Dono. Shout out to my boy Alex. Used to be a producer on my show in Miami back in the day on 790 The Ticket. Still killing it. Great job, Alex. And you want to check out Locked On the U with my boy. And one thing for sure that you really need to check out, if you haven't hit it yet, it's the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and now also available on Amazon Fire TV in the free Fire TV channels app. It's Locked On Sports Today. It's here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every single league. Find Locked On Sports Today, now available on the free Fire TV channels app. All right, I'm Jim Grieshaber. Call me Gries, and you are watching your Locked On Marlins postcast. Happy to have you with me right here on your Sunday. The Marlins dropped the series finale to the Mets 7-3. New York scores 4 times in the first. New York scores 3 times in the ninth. In between, the Marlins shut them down. But, man, we've been talking throughout the show. You cannot keep having your starting pitching give you nothing and expect to do anything in Major League Baseball. It was Sixto Sanchez today. It was Braxton Garrett yesterday, getting jumped on by the Mets early. Good team, good lineup, but nonetheless, you have to give your team a chance to win as a starting pitcher in Major League Baseball, and that did not happen today, and it didn't happen yesterday. They got lucky with the come-from-behind win, and of course, the big headline for the Mets is Edwin Diaz not used in the game. They didn't even warm him up. The $102 million closer who's been lit up like the 4th of July lately wasn't even a consideration in a 1-run game tonight. Pretty good attendance, almost 20K out there at Lone Depot Park today. But Harrison Bader, Tyrone Taylor, each driving in a couple of runs in a 4-run first inning. The Mets beat the Marlins 7-3. Brandon Nimmo homered. Francisco Lindor singled twice. He was in the middle of a 1-for-27 skid. Your leadoff hitter, that's not going to help any. The Mets rebounded from a terrible loss yesterday. They blew a 4-run ninth-inning lead. They avoid the 3-game sweep and put an end to the Marlins' 4-game winning streak. So there you have it. Diaz, by the way, the Mets closer, has an ERA of almost 11 over his last 8 appearances, 4 homers in 8 1/3 innings, his last 8 1/3 innings pitched. And, yeah, blowing 3 of his last 4 saved chances, including yesterday when he blew that one. So the Mets are 21-25. They had dropped 5 games under 500 for the first time this year. Before the game today, they salvaged that a little bit. Dane Myers hit a 2-run homer in the second. Christian Bethancourt with a solo drive in the 7th for the Marlins. Sixto Sanchez 0-2, allowed 4 runs and 6 hits in 4 innings. All of it was really in the first inning with the hanging slider. The Marlins recalled reliever Emmanuel Ramirez from Jacksonville, optioned Anthony Maldonado to the Triple-A farm team. JD Martinez, the Mets DH, didn't play with flu-like symptoms. And Tim Anderson, with the lower back tightness, had 3 singles and a home run in 5 at-bats in a rehab game with Jacksonville yesterday and went 0-for-4 with a walk today. Ryan Weathers going to start the opener against Milwaukee. Tomorrow, the Brewers will go with Joe Ross, 2-4 with a 4.61 ERA. Weathers is 2-4 with a 3.81. Had a really good start, though, his last time out in Detroit. So it'll be the Marlins and the Milwaukee Brewers. And let me see right here, give you a little bit of a preview here. A couple of minutes left in the show, and then we will wrap it up and get out of here. If you're looking at the Brewers right now, and again, the Marlins 15-33, they are 6.5 games in the basement. They're 6.5 games behind Washington, the team ahead of them in the standings. The Phillies are red hot at 34-14, putting some distance between them and the Braves. It's 4.5 now, but 8 games in the win column. Philly's been crushing it. That was, by the way, 4 games in the win column a week ago. So Philly's been crushing it lately. Red hot. Bryce Harper as well has been doing it for them in their lineup. So they're at 34-14. The Braves 26-15 in playoff contention in the East. And you look at the Central, the Brewers are in first place, 27-19. The Cubs 26-22. Dodgers 31-17 in the West. But Milwaukee's been a really good story this year. And when you think about what this team has done, and they've been crushing it lately. They beat Justin Verlander today. And that was something. Where are we at here? Milwaukee Brewers. Hold on one second. Come on. There we go. Nope. Sorry. One more. There we go. Sorry, guys. A little computer trouble here with the Milwaukee Brewers. There we go. First place in the Central over the Cubs. They beat the Astros today. Contreras hit a 3-run homer. William Contreras off of Verlander. And it's been a good year for Milwaukee. They've been finding a lot of ways to beat you. William Contreras has had a huge year. I mean, he's got 7 home runs, 37 RBIs. He's hitting .341. They're a brilliant catcher. You're really going to be in for a treat, watching him play. And you've got some pretty good hitters on that team. Overall. You got Bryce Terang having a good year at second base with a .314 average and really been tearing it up. 7 home runs for Willie Adams at shortstop, too. Rhys Hoskins, the big first baseman, of course, has the 9 home runs. Doesn't have a big average, but Hoskins has been looking pretty good for them as well. And then when you look at the pitching staff, right? I mean, it's been Contreras and Hopkins offensively. And then, Elvis Peguero has been good for them. Freddie Peralta has been good for them. And it's been a good start to the season for the Milwaukee Brewers. Been fantastic, actually, for them. First place in the Central Division, coming in for a 3-gamer. First pitch at 6:40 tomorrow night, and you're Locked On Marlins postcast right after that. As we do almost every day here on the show, homage to my mentor, the late, great Mad Dog Jim Mandich. That's all there is, Marlins fans. There is no more. You're Locked On Marlins postcast on your Sunday. The Mets finish off the series with avoid the 3-game sweep with a 7-3 win. The Brewers coming in starting tomorrow. Again, 6:40 p.m. first pitch. I almost said David Weathers. Ryan Weathers on the mound for the Miami Marlins, which would have been the Florida Marlins if David Weathers would have been on the mound, which would also make me a lot younger and fewer grays in this beard. Keep your game tight and your mind right, Marlins fans. We are out.